Ay, I walk around like that.
Hey, what is going on guys, Gaten here. In today's video we're going to be talking about an article that I recently seen that is just absolutely fucking retarded, but anyways, let's get straight into the article. Meet Eric and Hannah, the Netflix bingers. So as you can see, you got Eric right there, you got Hannah right there, and they're both sitting there on the couch. Pretty disgusting image, and really I don't know why they had to use this, but we're gonna learn more now. So it says, we conducted a study on the impact that binging Netflix has on your health. Now, I'm not really trying to cut off them at any point here, but like, why are they saying impact that binging Netflix has on your health? Like, impact, like, why are they saying impact? Like, when I hear impact, I expect, like, impact, like a fucking gunshot wound, or taking drugs. Like, when you say impact, this sounds like some serious fucking thing. Like, I really don't think Netflix is really that unhealthy, and that they had to use the word impact like somebody's getting fucking shot. But, let's move more into this. We used our research to show what you could look like if you don't change your habits. From obesity and posture damage to premature aging and bloodshot eyes, these are just some of the nasty effects this unhealthy lifestyle could cause. So I guess they're pretty much saying, I'm going to highlight first of all, obesity comes from Netflix, which, how the fuck does that even make sense? You know, obesity does not come from the fact that people are, consuming too many fucking calories and eating 16 McDonald's burgers every day. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with the fact that people don't go outside and lack physical exercise. It has nothing to do with the fact that people are lazy and eat things they should not be eating. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has to do with Netflix, which makes absolutely no sense how they're really going to say that people are going to be fat because they watch Netflix, basically. Because Netflix, yeah, you sit down to watch Netflix, but like, what do you spend? Like, an hour, 3 hours watching Netflix every day? If that, I mean, I don't even think most people watch Netflix every day. Like, you spend 3 hours, and you're trying to tell me that if I spend 3 hours a day watching Netflix, then I'm going to become overweight. Like, you know, I go to my 9-to-5 job every day, I get home from my job, and I watch Netflix for 3 hours, and apparently you're going to say I'm going to get overweight from it, which makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. Like, obesity comes from shit like people not eating and the lack of physical exercise. Now, watching Netflix is a lack of physical exercise, no shit, but it's not like you're literally sitting inside for fucking 19 hours at a time watching Netflix. Like, it's really not all that bad, like. But, you know, obesity does not come from Netflix. They're really just overstretching it and blaming Netflix on this. And another thing, why is the highlight Netflix here? If you're really gonna shoot the gun or hit at anybody here, shouldn't we be hitting at every single streaming platform here? Like, why is Netflix the only deadly sin mentioned here? Like, you know, Disney Plus is fine, or cable's fine, or YouTube's fine, or all the other things that people watch on the internet that's a video, basically. You know, all that's fine, but with Netflix it's not. So, like, you spend 3 hours a day watching fucking Hulu, you're perfectly good, but you spend 3 hours a day watching Netflix, you're gonna become a fucking obese fuck, which makes absolutely no sense in my opinion. Now, moving in a little bit further, they also talk about how obesity, they already mentioned, that I highlighted, then they say posture damage. Now, as you can see, Hannah and Eric both look like they came straight out of fucking Gmod. They both look like they're fucking PS1 characters playing the game. Like, you know, it's just really poor posture, and really, in complete honesty, I really do not see where they're coming from to be saying that poor posture comes from watching fucking Netflix, because people have been watching TV and watching Netflix and shit like that for many, many years now, and throughout all those years, I have not seen one fucking person who watches Netflix have this kind of fucking body posture. Like, this is just complete bullshit. There is no fucking horrible body posture that comes out of watching Netflix. Like, bad body posture comes out of shit like people just sitting in the chair for 46 hours straight, and has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that people are watching fucking Netflix. Like, just like the obesity, they're just hitting the gun, and they're really just shooting at some random bullshit which isn't even Netflix's fault. Like, they're acting like, okay, if you watch Netflix, you're gonna have bad posture. Like, it really just doesn't make any fucking sense. And then they go on to say that, watching Netflix also causes bloodshot eyes. Now, how the fuck does this happen? So, you come home from your 9 to 5 job, and you come home, you sit down on the couch, and you watch some Netflix for 3 hours. Apparently, watching that Netflix for 3 hours is gonna make you fucking bloodshot. Now, I don't even think this company knows what the fuck bloodshot is, because of the simple fact that, you don't get bloodshot unless you spend, like, I don't know, 20 hours straight staring at a fucking screen? Like, you do not just magically get fucking this bloodshot eye bullshit just from sitting there and fucking just watching Netflix for a few hours. Like, there's really nothing wrong with sitting there for a few hours. That does not fuck with your sight. And even if you were to get fucking bloodshot eyes, don't you think that once somebody gets to that point of, like, bloodshot eyes, like, their eyes literally fucking hurt and they're literally doing something unhealthy, that they would stop and probably close their eyes and fuck, maybe even take a nap? But they're making it out to be that, like, from the looks of this, they got the bags under their eyes, they got the bloodshot eyes. They're making it out to be that, like, these people are literally sleep deprived because of Netflix, which, listen, if somebody's choosing to stay up all day or all night watching Netflix, that's not Netflix's fault. That's the person's fault for having a really fucked up schedule and doing something so unhealthy. It's somebody else's fault. It's the people's fault for fucking staying up and doing this shit, not Netflix, because if Netflix weren't there, they'd still be doing the same exact shit. So you can't really jump to the blame and hit Netflix and say, oh, well, Netflix is the reason I can't sleep at night. Like, no, the reason you can't fucking sleep at night is because you don't fucking sleep at night. The reason you don't sleep at night is because you took a fucking 5-hour energy and drank like 19 fucking monsters. Like, really, they're just blaming out things that really have no fucking valid evidence or even idea here. Like, there is just absolutely no reason that they're really even going to be saying this. Like, it really doesn't make any fucking sense. And you move down a little bit more, and they say, a closer look at the symptoms. Over to you, Doc. Want to know how they ended up in this state? We'll talk you through it. Simply hover over the red points and see, and we'll give you science behind the ugly. It's true when they tell you that health is the most important thing. So basically, I guess what they're doing here is they're explaining how all these bad things happen to these people. So we're going to start off with Eric, and we're going to look at his issues. So Eric, rounded shoulders, sitting too long. Okay, I'm going to cut it off right there. So you're blaming Netflix on the reason that people are sitting too long. The reason that people are getting rounded shoulders is because they're choosing to sit too long. That's on them, not Netflix. You see, if Netflix weren't around, they'd still be doing it anyways with probably some other streaming platform. And now let's go down to poor posture. Too much pressure on the tailbone from sitting in bad positions. Okay, we're going to blame Netflix on bad positions now. It has nothing to do with the fact that somebody is choosing to be doing these bad positions. It has to do with Netflix. Let's just blame Netflix on people using bad positions. I mean, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. Then we got increased risk of bowel cancer. Blah, 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 blah. Prolonged periods of time than those who stay active. So I guess what they're saying here is pretty much that sitting down causes bowel cancer. Well, shouldn't we really just be putting this out in general for people who are lazy, not blaming it on fucking Netflix? Like, maybe we should think for maybe 3 seconds here and think, well, if Netflix wasn't here, they'd still be doing this anyways. Like, I'm sick of seeing this stupid fucking company blaming Netflix on everything. Like, this shit is because somebody's choosing to do this, not Netflix. Now let's move on a little bit more. You got bald patches. Oh, I didn't even realize that one, actually. Actually, this dude's also bald. They're saying that you go bald from watching Netflix, too. So if you don't want to go bald, don't watch Netflix. And it says, from lack of sunlight and vitamin D, people go bald. Well, don't you think it's people's fault for not going outside and lacking that fucking sunlight? Don't you think that's people's fault, not fucking, Netflix? Then you got, fucking bloodshot eyes. Staring at a screen for hours at a time tires the eyes and prevents proper blinking. Well, it's people's decision to stare at the screen. If it was Netflix, it would happen. Now, if Netflix wasn't there, it would still fucking happen. Like, it's not Netflix's fault, it's the people's decisions. You got dark shadows, the eye area will darken and betray any lack of sleep. Well, people are not lacking sleep, spending their time watching Netflix. Nobody is that involved with Netflix that they have to stay awake to watch Netflix like it's a fucking job or something. You got premature aging. High energy visible, HEV, light from the screen, penetrates the screen, and blah 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 blah, meaning more frame lines, wrinkles, and sagging in the face, wrinkles and sagging in the face. Well, you're pretty much just talking about how staring at a fucking screen is bad. That has absolutely nothing to do with Netflix. You should just be saying that watching TV in general is bad for you, not saying that, oh, Netflix. Like, you know, it just doesn't make sense. And then they got pale skin. Lack of sunlight leads to vitamin B12 and D, blah, 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 basically. So, you know, that's still people's issue because they're choosing not to go outside. You know, like, it's not Netflix's fault. Netflix isn't fucking chaining these people up and saying, you can't go outside, you fucking bitch. Okay, and we got the obesity, and it says, with too much delivery food that people are ordering, and lack of actual fucking exercise is the reason that the pounds are piling up. Well, first of all, why are they treating fucking Netflix like people really order a fucking pizza to watch some Netflix? Listen, I really don't know many people who order fucking pizza to watch Netflix. I've heard of people, like, eating some snacks and junk food, like, but it's not anything excessive. It's not to the point where, like, you're gonna get obese from it, like, because you choose to eat a bag of gummy worms after work when you're sitting there watching Netflix, there is nothing wrong with that. That is not gonna cause obesity. Now, it says here, bad mood. Binging usually means you sleep less often, leading to depression and anxiety. Well, a new shocker here. Binging in general is shit. Binging anything is unhealthy, so stop bashing on Netflix for binging, and binge on absolutely everything. If you're really gonna sit here and bash on shit for fucking binging on Netflix, binge on it all. Binging anything is bad. Drinking too much water is bad. Fuck, there's a lot of shit that's bad. Well, you could just might as well just make a list of everything that's fucking bad. You're just gonna be listing everything in existence is basically bad to fucking binge. Binge is just bad in general. It's just as simple as that. And then it says here, amputated limbs. Binge watching Netflix can increase the risk of diabetes up to 30%. Okay, so I guess watching Netflix gives you fucking diabetes, and they don't even have a fucking rationalized answer here on how the fuck Netflix gives people diabetes, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. It says here, dead butt syndrome. Sitting for too long puts persistent pressure, blah 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 blah. They're pretty much just explaining what the fuck dead butt syndrome is. And people get dead butt syndrome because they're sitting down, not because they're watching Netflix. So stop blaming Netflix on people getting dead butt syndrome. And another thing, I sit down a lot, and I don't have dead butt syndrome. I know a lot of people who sit down for long periods of time. They don't have dead butt syndrome. This shit is fucking rare. And then you got something veins. Poor blood pressure circulation due to sitting down for long periods of time. It's people's fault for sitting down for long periods of time, not Netflix. You got missharpen leg muscles. Watching too much TV eats up time for exercise and movement. Well, no fucking shit. What do you expect? It not to do that? Like, I think we already knew this before we entered the situation in the first place. And it says, meaning the muscles go soft and lose their shape. Listen, it's perfectly fine to watch TV, as long as you don't do it for fucking 23 hours a day, which is not what people are doing with Netflix. So, that's everything with Eric. Let's move into Hannah and see where her issues make sense. So you got the pale skin, you got the rounded shoulders, you got the poor posture. Okay, same shit as Eric. You got the premature aging, got that shit on Eric, bloodshot eyes, dark shadows, that's all on Eric too. And then you got the obesity, that's Eric too. You got the amputated limbs, Eric too. Bad mood, Eric too. You got dead butt syndrome, already talked about that with Eric too. We got missharpened leg muscles, talked about that with Eric. And the something veins. So pretty much Eric and Hannah have the exact same issues, and I already kind of discussed the issues with Eric, so rather than to just repeat everything all over again, I'm going to leave it at that. And as a fucking whole, in the conclusion, this is just complete fucking bullshit. It is perfectly fine to watch Netflix, and this article is just absolutely fucking retarded. And another thing about it is the fact that, the fucking people who were actually releasing this is a fucking online gambling company. So, I guess people who literally start gambling and start gambling companies are criticizing people who watch Netflix, which, it's perfectly fine to gamble, but watching Netflix is a problem, which is absolute bullshit, because, fucking gambling actually causes death in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people die because of gambling, because they fucking kill themselves after they bet all their fucking money. Gambling causes depression, anxiety, it causes everything, and gambling is a really serious issue. Gambling is almost as bad as a goddamn drug. So if you're really gonna sit here and really fucking bash on anybody, you should be bashing on yourselves, because you're a fucking gambling company. Like, what the fuck? But, if they were to bash on themselves, they would just make a clown out of their own company and lose their own money. So, they don't want that. So, I guess they just criticize everybody else. And, morally, you can't watch Netflix, but, gambling is perfectly fine, even though it kills millions and people bet their fucking children in it. But, you get the point. This article is just absolutely bullshit and absolutely just some boomer shit. And other than that, that's all I got for this. I'll see you in the next one, and peace.